Hello and welcome everyone. In this session we are going to talk about cloud security and different cloud services which are easily exploited. We will discuss about some of the favorite spots for attackers in order to gain foothold to an organization or in order to access sensitive data of an organization. You'd have seen nowadays cloud has grown a lot and there are so many cloud providers also coming up with various services including security services. So cloud has gained quite a lot of popularity and it is now our responsibility that we do not rely on cloud providers to maintain the security of our application. Rather, it's a shared responsibility model we should be following. So before we jump into detailed technical security test and cloud application, let's first try to understand word cloud exactly. A cloud is a place where we are getting managed services. We are not doing everything on our own from the scratch. Rather, we are using the resources which are offered by a particular cloud provider. It can either be a shared resource, it can be used by multiple tenants, or it can be dedicated to a particular organization. So cloud helps in managing resources. It also helps in scaling our workload. So let's say if we are running an application which has lots of users as their customer base, we might run out of resources if we use dedicated instances on-premise. But if we are using cloud services, we can procure as many resources as we want, and that can be on demand while avoiding all the operational work we usually do in order to scale our application. So cloud offers managed resources, which can be shared or dedicated and helps in reducing the operations and also enhances the scalability of our application. So you can assume that your job is being done somewhere out there in the cloud, but you cannot actually see that physically, so it is doing your work virtually on the remote servers. Multiple cloud services are gaining popularity nowadays. Popular ones are Amazon Web Services for AWS. Then we have Google Cloud Platform for GCP and we have Microsoft Azure Cloud. There are many emerging cloud service providers which are not listed here but are used by multiple businesses. Our focus in this session will be AWS cloud attacks. We will talk about some of the common attacks on AWS cloud services. We can correlate those attacks on other cloud providers also. For example, we are going to talk about some identity and access management attacks in AWS. We can correlate those against other cloud providers as well since the identity and access management follow similar fundamentals in other cloud like Microsoft Azure. Let's take a quick look at some of the services which are offered by a normal cloud provider. We have infrastructure as a service. For example, in case of our Amazon AWS, we have EC2, that is Elastic Cloud Computes to host infrastructure or fleet to run an application. We also have short-lived instances using Amazon ECS, which is container service. Rackspace also provides many other services such as cloud storage, databases, and analytics. Google Cloud Platform modernize your apps and services on Google Cloud scalable infrastructure. These are few examples of cloud providers which offer infrastructure as a service. Then we have platform as a service where we can build our entire application end-to-end from cloud platform, hardware, software, to infrastructure, for developing, running, and managing applications without the cost, complexity, and inflexibility that often comes with building and maintaining that platform on premises. For example, using Amazon Elastic Block Store, EBS, Microsoft Azure, Magento Commerce. Third category which we are going to talk about is software as a service, in which a cloud provider hosts applications and makes them available to end users over the cloud. For example, you have seen Salesforce provides customer relationship management software and applications focused on sales, customer service, marketing automation, e-commerce, analytics, and application development, giving us best of softwares in order to handle the multiple tasks for our organization and clients. They are providing a service, so you can call that setup as software service. Dropbox, for example, is allowing us to store some data, so it is offering us software for storing the. DocuSign is offering us a service which can digitally sign our data on cloud, so that is another software on cloud. So let's now jump into how we can determine the security of our cloud application. There has been a popular misconception among many application owners who are having their applications on-premise and are migrating to cloud or already have migrated. They think that cloud will secure their application on its own and that they do not need to worry about security. But that's totally wrong misconception, and that needs to be changed, because when we are using cloud, it needs security controls similar to when it was running on-premise. The only difference is now the cloud provider can offer certain features which we can configure in order to make our application secure. However, it is our responsibility to toggle or configure such settings on the cloud which can help in securing resources used in our application and application as a whole. So it is a shared responsibility model. There are many security features which are offered on cloud. For example, it can have the application firewall, which are helping in validating the inputs to our application while blocking any malicious input coming directed towards the application. You can also build custom security controls on top of the existing ones offered by the cloud. So let's try to understand it all from an attacker's mindset. What are the attacks they will look for in order to enumerate or in order to get access to our cloud environment? For an attacker, cloud applications are making it easy because growth of cloud has increased the exposure. So many applications now have multiple resources which are hosted on cloud, which can also be accessed over internet if they are not configured to have an isolated network. So access to internet is a favorite case for attackers because they can now enumerate the target in a better way. Another gap while hosting application in cloud is missing security tests due to abstraction of features and integrations within cloud environment. For instance, let's take example of a scenario where we create an API on cloud which talks to a backend server hosted on cloud. Here security test can be easily missed on the integration set up by application owner on API service on cloud and backend service on cloud. An attacker in general begin with any security misconfiguration in the cloud which can be used in order to gain unauthorized access and gain foothold in the network to persist through different resources, like getting a long-term user in our cloud environment. And then once they have gained the persistence, they can escalate to gain administrator level properties. So next we are going to talk about common attacks on AWS cloud, and we will cover basic categories of attacks.